Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Never End Podcast, the podcast open to everyone, especially my lovely wife, Charity. I met her 8 years ago today. That's nice. Oh, and it's also Mr. Coffee. My name is Luke. I'm your host of the Never End Open Podcast, and with me, as always, is Mr. Guy. Say hello, Mr. Guy.
Hello, Mr. Guy. That was quite an intro. Hello, Luke. Hello to the listeners. And hello to the folks that are watching us on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube. Say the words. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to say the words about Lone Star Shootout, our favorite show of the year.
Pew, 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 pew.
More important than anything, we're going to get into the bracketology of the World Tag League teams that have been announced, and we are going to dissect every little nitty-gritty detail about the biggest tournament of the year in New Japan, World Tag League.
Best of Super Juniors? We'll wing it. The G1 Climax? Yeah, well, if we winged it for the Best of Super Juniors, the G1? Fine. Junior Tag League? Same. The World Tag League! We got it broken down!
Very important.
We do. And yes, there is professionalism that I need to do, but there are ways people can contact and interact with us if they wish to. We're on the sinking ship that is the Tweety. I'm at Grumpy2EB. Mr. Guy is at Truth of Tweets. Collectively, we are at Never Open Pod. And if you want to send us a written or voicemail, you can do that. neveropenpod@gmail.com. And if you got any of that Sasha Banks money, I'm getting prouder and prouder of those. Kick it our way. We have a Teespring store. Hey, but that's not all. Yes, you can look never as far, but that's not all, Mr. Guy. Hey, we're on the YouTubes. Hell yeah. All right, as of the Power Struggle episode, our previous episode, we've got video to go with the audio. So if you want to see our handsome faces while we make fun of wrestling and talk about it and stuff, you can do that. Or if you just want us in your ear holes, you can do that too. We're on the YouTube, so you can just look it up. We're at Never Open Podcast. Nice and easy. And then you can see one of the masterpieces that Mr. Andy made called The Fantasy Dream Book. You might have heard us mention that all the time on the show. We don't fantasy book. We fantasy dream book.
That's right.
And that fucking gnarly video's up there. Hey, and it's one of those fucking songs that is a brainworm and will get into your head.
And I wrote it. I wrote the every part of it. So I wrote the notes too. So
I might have had some input with the chompy line at the end, but you put everything together. You shot it. You did it. It's all you.
I just wanted people to know that I wrote the music. I wrote it. Okay. So, by the way, one of our listeners, I'm not sure what she goes by, but I think her name's Kate, and she's on Twitter and has been following us a long time. I think she's Angel on Twitter. And she recently was recognized on some big wrestling podcast thing that I don't listen to. Kenny Omega was on there and talked about how she writes music, right? She's in school for writing music, and she redid his theme song and reorchestrated it in all these different ways and shit, and wrote other music to go along with it. And she got recognized by the man himself. That's pretty fucking cool. Shout out.
Fucking gnarly. That is amazing. Well done. Congrats. Fuck, that's really cool. It's cooler than anything we're going to do on today's show.
Definitely. Well, except for the bracketology thing.
Of course.
That's going to be the coolest thing we've ever done on the show. You can't.
Definitely. If there is news, I think it's all Wrestle Kingdom and World Tag League stuff, as well as that Road 2 show. So we can talk about that after we've talked about Lone Star. Great. Sorry, spoiler alert. We loved it. Yeah.
I didn't like this show, Luke.
I know.
Our problems with Strong as a brand, they started a long time ago during the pandemic era when they taped a bunch of shows and they tape them in this, backstage looking area where it was just a black hole. Yeah, black hole with a fucking ring in it. And we called it the Dark City set. And they brought it back for the show. And I have got to say, we'll get into it. When I first started watching this show, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. But before we get to that, Luke, we must tell people about this building. So this show took place in a building called the Curtis Caldwell Center. I tried to look up who Curtis Caldwell is, and it's like a business. It's not a person. It's like a business. So
I would rather a stadium or arena or a venue be called Generic Gymnasium Hall Event Place number 2 than be named after a fucking brand name. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, look, it's the fucking McDonald's arena. Fuck off.
Yeah, I get it. They can collect some money by
advertising over everything, dude.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Luckily, me and you can't really read Japanese. Otherwise, we'd be bitching about it all the time on New Japan. But we can't read it, so it's great.
And then they come out with commercials on. Remember that Strong commercial? It had like Clark Connors, Young Lion that's gone to WWE, and Alex, the android, and they're doing like that cleaning thing that cleans things. Man, that was
fun. Yeah, there was a bunch of commercials they did, but the Curtis Caldwell Center, we learned that by internet research that there were some people that went there, and I'm not sure if they liked it or not. We'll find out. Luke, you have a Google review of the Curtis Caldwell Center. Is that correct?
I do indeed. This is one of my favorite gimmicks, by the way. Just bad reviews of venues that wrestling shows are held in. Oh, my goodness. All right. This place is not made for graduation. You cannot see the graduates from most places. This is good for dinners. This isn't good for dinners or even a dance. 1 star.
Yeah, what it says is that this is good for dinners or even a dance. So what they're trying to say is that this place is terrible for graduation, but it might be good for dinners or a dance. 1 star. So
I thought that was maybe a typo. So I was like, all right. This place is not made for graduation. You cannot see the graduates from most places. This place is good for dinners or even a dance.
Yeah.
1 star. But it's bad for what they went to, but they could see the potential of it being good for other things, but still
1 star. I mean, still not giving it an extra star for that, but maybe, maybe one day if I go there for a dinner, maybe you get 2 stars. We don't know. So, I mean, I like the implications of some of these. It's fun. So I also have one. It's a little longer. It goes a little something like this. The Blues Super Bowl concert was a mess. It was a large, expensive karaoke. The screens didn't show the artist performing, only advertising, and the lights was on the whole time. A mess! Cheese and chips after standing in line an hour. It was a damn basketball game. A mess! 1 star.
Man, that place is a fucking mess.
It is. Well, it's not just a mess. It's a mess. So according to this,
it makes you call into question the Curtis Caldwell management.
I think it's a little messy. But
they got a very messy style. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Luke, we are at this place. And like I said, it is. I just want to tell you real quick about my experience watching this because I didn't know the show was going to be on. I thought it was the next night. And then you're like, hey, the show's going on. Oh, fuck, I got to watch it.
I got to send you the good news.
Yeah. So I turn it on and I am like, I am flabbergasted by what I'm seeing. First of all, the Dark City sets back. And I'm like, why are we doing this? And that's not good. And then they keep showing the seats, and there is no one there. No one. Now, this was supposed to be the bell time, right? What I didn't know is there was a pre-show and that no one had showed up yet. And so it got a little better. But still, Luke, usually, we kind of have a running tally of who wins the match. Who won the match this time, Luke? What match am I talking about?
It is the ongoing feud between the people who set up these American shows and the equipment that they have to work with. Well, guess what? Guess who is unfucking defeatable? It is the equipment. Why? I can't fucking hear the fucking goddamn wrestling. I'm sorry. That's a lot of fuckings, but I can't hear it. Let me hear. Everyone's going, shh, 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 because they're going to do the slap spot, the one that Pentagon fucking does. And then they do the chop. I'm like, What? Was that it? I'm like, I can't hear it. I can hear the entrance music, sort of. I can't hear them talking that much. And I don't mean talking as in, hey, all right, we're going to do the lariat spot, brother. Not that. Like, just generals, just like if they say anything like, hey, fuck you to the guy they're wrestling, because that's what they do in New Japan, right? I can't hear that much. I can't hear the chops that well. The sound is bad. It is dark as fuck. Why are they wrestling at midnight?
I bet you the toilet is bad too.
Not only that, like, come on, man. You're New Japan Pro Wrestling and you're working in a small ring. It makes your show look good.
It was the small ring too. And man, at first you don't notice, but then later on, it's like all these. We'll talk about it. It gets real bad with the small ring. And so this show starts off with a giant handicap, and it's all this stuff we're talking about, right? Also, there's no English commentary, which I don't care about. I guess it was on Fight or something like that.
Yeah,
we're not paying for this shit. Sorry. You know, you guys want to send us money to buy this? I'll probably use it on something else because it's not worth it. So, you know, it's like all that's going against it. And, you know, we have Japanese commentary, and what we've learned when they do the like overdub of Japanese commentary, it's so fucking loud. Like, just turn it down a little bit, and then everything else will kind of equalize. Because it's like, you know, this is way up here, the Japanese commentary and the ring sound and everything, the crowd, everything we're hearing from the actual venue is way down low. And it's just it's hard to watch that way. When the crowd fills up a little bit, it does get a little better, but it never really gets good, you know, as far as the production.
These shows want you to give them your money. We would recommend you don't do that because they don't look professional. They can't get the fucking sound right. You know, and we've had even worse complaints about other shows that we actually did pay money for. So, yeah, New Japan, smart. Just put the Japanese commentary on World. Mr. Guy and I will just watch that version. But that still doesn't change the fucking sound and the quality or anything like that. And it's nothing against Vader Scott or Walker Stewart. We like Vader Scott. We've heard Walker Stewart's commentary. He's fine.
Not paying for it.
No. I'm sorry.
The other big problem I have with the show, as far as the production, is the camera work. Now, listen, the like camera work from the sides, the roaming cams, they did fine. It's not terrible. It's not my favorite, but it's not terrible. The big problem I have is with hard cam. Hard cam is too close to the ring. All right. So what happens is have you ever used a tripod with a big heavy camera on it? All right. And you got to move it so that you can like shoot it down further. Right. So you got to push it forward. So you have to unscrew this thingy. And all of a sudden the weight of the camera is in your hands and the tripod's not holding it anymore. So every time something like they had to move the camera to a lower position to see something, he would unscrew it. And all of a sudden the camera would jolt, you know, because then he had to catch it. And then it would be shaky cam. And it was awful. It was so bad.
I don't want to beat many people up because I'm not a violent person, but the inventor of shaky cam, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. No one likes it. No one likes it.
Yeah, it's funny when back in like the 90s when shaky cam was everything, I don't think I even noticed it, you know, but now when you see it on, especially on New Japan, all right, I have a beef when they have to move the hard cam at all. You know, I think it should be stationary. That's why it's called the fucking hard cam. When that's moving, it means it's too close to the ring. And that's a possibility. It can happen. But goddamn, change the hard cam side.
So, yeah, that's the thing. Like, New Japan is one of the most recognizable wrestling promotions in the world. I think we could both agree on that. And hey, I'm happy for the fans that went to this show and enjoyed themselves. I'm happy for the wrestlers. They got a payday. They got to travel to America and put on a show. Awesome. But the production side of it is absolutely fucking garbage. And it's an ongoing story of this fucking being absolute shit. I don't swear. I know I swear a lot, but god damn it. Fix your sound.
Now,
Fix
Luke,
the production. What
I
are
don't
you
want to
doing?
I don't want to piss you off further, but something we didn't mention yet, we probably should have already talked about, is that New Japan World is now new, right? So there's a new New Japan World interface. I learned that there's an Apple TV because I had problems with it. Chromecast. That's usually how I watch the show. Is I cast it from my phone or from my laptop. And so, like halfway through the show, I was getting freezing and all kinds of stuff. Halfway through the show, I learned that there was an Apple TV app, and I used that, and it's fucking great. It's tremendous. It looks great. It's easy to find where you were at. It's really nice. A lot of people have had problems with New Japan World so far. Luke, what has your experience been with New Japan World?
All right. So it goes live. I get back home, and I'm like, all right, let's test this search function out. Hope it's better than the last one. What do I want to watch? All right. My mind goes to one of the many comfort matches that I might revisit because it was gnarly or it tickles me in some way. And for me, it was Ryosuke Taguchi versus Clark Connors as the Wild Rhino as he was then. And they have an ass battle, Best of Super Juniors match. And that's one of my happy places. It's not there. Oh. Well, what about this? It's not there. What about this? It's not there. So I feel like there's a reason for this, and it's got in something to do with one of the features that I really appreciate. That if anyone goes back to watch a show that's just aired on New Japan World, so just listeners, easiest way to do it, Lone Star, click on it, and then click the episode tab, and that episode tab will allow you just to go skip straight to the wrestling match that you want to watch or rewatch. Boom, bing, bish, bash, bosh, it's done. I really like that feature. So maybe a part of it is, all right, we're going to put our old shit back, of course, but we want to break this down into the episode format that we've got for what we're going to do with the new shows. So there's a lot of shit missing in that. It took me a while to figure out that, all right, that's where the schedule is. It's before you press watch now. There's the schedule right there.
On the front page.
Yeah, so I found it. It's fine. I haven't had any problems with, I was complaining about not being able to watch some shows live.
Mm-hmm.
Zero problems. I had zero problems the last few shows before the change, but I've only watched Lone Star, but I had zero troubles. I watched it just fine. It was perfect.
I'm pretty fired up about the Apple TV app because that makes sometimes when I wake up, I'm like waking up, I'm running to the bathroom, and then I'm running out here to get ready to fucking watch the show. And I'm like, I gotta do a tweet, and I gotta do this and that. I gotta do 50 things. And one less thing is worried about casting to my TV and making sure that that's all working. Now I can just turn the fucking TV on with the Apple TV app. And I know there's a lot of people complaining that there isn't certain matches on there, but they told us about that and had told us about that for weeks and weeks before it debuted. So, you can't really be mad about that. It'll eventually, they'll get everything back up there. And even the old New Japan World, they were still constantly adding old stuff, and so it's just something that, is going to be a learning curve a little bit on how to use it. But I like it so far. And I don't know. I guess we got to talk about the show now.
We've stalled long enough. All right, so it is Lone Star at the insert crappy brand name here arena venue. And do you want to start us off?
Sure. So the opening match is a pre-show match. We didn't know that. So I was like, oh my God, this is the show? There's literally 30 people there. Literally. Like maybe not even that many. And I was like, oh my God. So anyway, the opening match is Barrett Brown, who we're familiar with, versus other guy whose name is Matt Vandergriff, I learned later. Barrett Brown looks like babyface Juice Robinson. And the Matt Vandergriff guy wins with a 450 splash. And he's the guy that got squashed by the giant dude on the last show. So he won. He got his heat back on this one.
Oh, that's
a storyline we were invested in, So.
Oh, yeah. All right. Speaking of storylines we were invested in, our second match is Fred Rosser versus Filthy Tom Lawler. Apparently this is the 4th match in the series. Oh, okay. If this was a storyline that anyone cared about, why is it on the fucking pre-show? Also, if it ends with them like going, "Hey, 2-all, respect, handshake," I'm like, oh, all right, I can see like them doing a, strong style versus the other guys thing and being like, "Hey, we should join forces or something," and maybe they'll head over to Tag League or something. No, they're not doing that. This match is a match we've seen a billion times, and it goes on for too long.
It's
Fred
really
rolls up
long.
filthy. There's a respect handshake, and I'm like, okay, cool. Sorry, yeah, it was a match that I watched. Yeah.
It's one
When's
of the
Russell going to Japan? Get your butt to Japan, Fred Russell. We want to see you in Japan. Come on, man.
I have no interest. I'm sorry. I don't like either of these guys as wrestlers. They're fine, but like, is it either one of those guys being on a card is not going to excite me in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to be like, well, kind of wish it was somebody else. And I hate to tell you guys this, but I want to be a little brutally honest about some of the stuff on this show. And maybe, we're not here to be shills for New Japan. Like, so
we love it, warts and all.
I don't like the show at all. Like, there's stuff on it that's very good, and we'll talk about that.
Yep.
But man, most of it I just don't like at all. So I hated this match. The fact that it's the most strong match. What did you call it, Luke? What is it?
I can't remember. You go.
You said it was the strongest match. Capital STRONG. And that's what it is. And this reminds me of when we had to cover Strong for a little bit, and then we just gave up. And I was like, I miss Ian. Ian would have told us all about this, and we wouldn't have had to watch this. So I thought this was part of the show, and I guess it wasn't. But the pre-show main event was, this match, and we move on. And so we get a little break here. And when we get back from the break, there's a lot more people there, and it's enough that it isn't fucking embarrassing anymore. So I was like, okay, I don't feel as embarrassed for New Japan, The next match is Rocky Romero, Hechicero, Ultima Guerrero versus Atlantis, the old one, Mascara Dorada, and Tiger Mask. And there's some really good lucha stuff here, obviously. But I can't help but notice the unsteady hard cam. It's so bad. We get some Rudo shit from Rocky's team. Hechicero is fucking great, and he hits all kinds of crazy looking moves, like a hanging giant airplane spin backbreaker thing.
That's really cool.
God. Japanese commentary marked out for him. Shooting star press from Mascara Dorada on Hechicero for the win. And those two try to make a match with each other. They like go into business for themselves after the match and go, you and me, one more time, New Japan. What do you think? And it's like,
we'll put you on the pre-show of the next American show. How's that?
Hey, for our listeners out there, I was making a face. You know what face I was making. So
yeah, it's that face. I like that Hechicero is obviously like. Of course, we like Rocky and we like Tiger Mask, but for me, I remember seeing him. When was it? Fantastic Mania last year. I was like, "Fuck, this guy's really good." And then I just got a reminder of it that holy shit, he's really good. Man, he's like a never-style luchador kind of.
Hey,
dude.
Maybe he'll be in World Tag League. That'd be awesome, right? But this could be like a preview for that, right? We could be building to that here.
We definitely got some CMLL guys turning up, but yeah. Anyway, I guess I'm stalling a little bit because I got to talk about Joey Janela versus Toru Yano.
That's upsetting.
And I love Yano, but look, this match is fucking. The start of it's fucking dumb. Right, Joey Janela and Yano, they start their match. Joey puts Yano down on the mat and starts feeling him up. So obviously the ref didn't do his job. Good work, ref. You fit right in at New Japan, looking like a chumpy idiot. But then Joey's like, "Hey, this is tape. Hey, this is tape." Oh my! And his thought process must have been that he's got tape on him. Holy shit, that escalated quickly. Let's make this a no DQ match.
Oh, of course you have to, because Joey Janela doesn't wrestle.
this is the same. Like Moxley will do this, but Moxley will do it in a like I don't know. Your mileage may vary, but at least I like John Moxley, and he's going to make his matches ridiculous, and there's a fun factor to them that I like. So there is that. But yeah, Joey sees the tape and goes, "Holy shit, let's make it no DQ." Okay, at least we get to see Yano do the following: throwing Joey into a pile of chairs, an apron DDT, and powerbomb through chairs. That's pretty good. Joey Janela gets taped to a chair, but then low blows Yano. And then the ref,
Why?
untapes Joey Janela. What the fuck are you doing, ref? You don't do that in Yano matches. Like, I don't see Kenta Sato, Chumpy, or Red Shoes in the rare chance that Yano is getting refed by Red Shoes because he's that far up the card. It happens. You know, like, they would just be like, well, you're taped, man. Like, you let it happen. You get yourself out of that shit. That's fine.
Give up!
You know? Give up!
That's what they would say.
Even Chumpy Jr. wouldn't have undone the tape.
Oh, Chumpy Jr. was all over this show, too. He was one of the highlights, I have to say. So yeah. I like Chumpy Jr.
So Joey does a Death Valley driver onto the chair. So at least Yano's taken one bump. But that's about all he takes. All the other bumps are taken by Janela. Good. Yano's wrists are tied together, but that doesn't matter. Double axe handle shot to the Life Makers and a really bad roll up. And Yano, thankfully, fucking hell, wins.
What was the point of that? You know, there's no point to that. And not only that, okay, we got a couple of things to talk about here. One, the crowd did chant for the red chair. They were fucking bored too. And they're like, oh, let's chant for the chair. So red chair chants gets going. I mean, it's like, it's just, this is not good. And this match was originally booked as a street fight. It was supposed to be like, so why did we need that intro thing? We didn't need that. That's why I sent you the message. You thought I was prescient. But no, I sent you a message. We're going to get a street fight here. Because it was booked as a fucking street fight. Why did we need that segment at the beginning? I do respect Yano for bringing the vinegar with him all the way from Japan. So he had the bottle of vinegar, which I thought was cool.
Yes, he did.
And he still has yet to use that as a mist, which is bullshit. But next, Luke, we have another strange thing about the show is that we have a few backstage interviews. And they're with the guys who can't talk. Why? So who is a guy who is known to be one of the best in-ring guys there is, but the thing against him has always been that he's not good on the mic? It's TJP. So we give him an interview, and it's bad. It's real bad. So that happens. Yes.
And I feel like you and we're pretty hot on TJP right now. I feel like he's realized that, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be a dick to fans and stuff like that. And I feel like he's pulled that kind of back, and it's showing in his work and his demeanor in the ring and all this kind of stuff. I'm digging that. But play to your strengths, man. You're smooth and gnarly in the ring. Let the fiery Italian just do the mic work, because that's all you need.
TJP's got the United Empire rub, which works, So, I mean, that rub works. So next, Luke, we have a match, and it is the Jet Setters and GOD versus Alex Coughlin, Chase Owens, Clark Connors, and Gabe Kidd. And the ring looks absolutely itty-bitty right here. And guys are trying to do their, entrance and shit, and they're all just in each other's way. It's so bad. So, but this match is exactly what you think it'll be. BC, they cheat. They beat up Kushida. It can be really good at times. This match can be very good at times. I just don't care. And once a big comeback start and everybody gets to, catch fire and run wild, it's pretty cool. When everybody's moving in and out and stuff is flying by, this match is great. Connors spears Kevin out of the air after he does the assisted springboard thingy with Kushida. The bad guys, BC, they hit their finish, and Connors pins Kevin Knight for the win. That was a match.
Look, Guerrillas of Destiny, we get it. You left Bullet Club. Now fucking leave them.
Yeah, go away from them.
Leave them. Now leave them alone. All right. And then Tamatanga's like, okay, how about a feud with LIJ? No. All right, but not Machinger. Get out of here.
I mean, actually, an LIJ feud versus God, that could make them for us. You know what I mean? And I do have something I gotta say before I forget it. Is that one? Like I always am the devil's advocate. I'm always the one. Like when somebody says something, I'm like, what's the opposite of that? That's what I think. You know. And I was thinking about the whole like Tama Tonga versus Shingo thing. Here's what New Japan's thinking there. This is my thought process or their thought process on this. Look what that did for Jeff Cobb. Let's do it for Tama Tonga, right?
Yes,
I think that's kind of what they're thinking. So I just had to throw that out there. So
look, I see that, but
I know I don't want it either. So, just saying it. So
all right, well, hey, at least I get this pretty fun tag match. It's the West Coast Wrecking Crew. That's Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson versus El Phantasmo and Hikuleo. Hikuleo being my favorite of Fatu's sons, I think, at the moment. Now, there's a really nice spot at the start with Royce Isaacs suplexing El Phantasmo onto Hikuleo. It was a stalling suplex, the one he does outside. And I was like, hey, here's some strong guys I miss. Can't they be in World Tag League? You've got your own... And I feel like Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson would fucking love it. Did you remember when Royce Isaacs was here for Filthy Time in the G1?
Great. He was great.
Look at him in every match that he did, the tag previews, or even just coming out in a tracksuit to support Filthy Time. He looked like he loved it. There's a guy that would just... Man, he'd go out of his way to make sure he fucking nailed it, even if it's just World Tag League. Anyway, West Coast Wrecking Crew, they do the Bullet Club back rake spot El Phantasmo used to do on El Phantasmo.
I couldn't believe it. That's against the law.
So Royce Isaacs is holding El Phantasmo for it, and Jarrell, a kiss that's not from a chef right there. Amazing. He does the knee things. He does the acrobatic shit. All just I like it. This turns out to be a really fucking good time because El Phantasmo is a creative dude and he's working with 3 other guys who are into having fun. So there's some creative spots and the match does end after the lame ref tries a chump bump and Jarrell hits Royce Isaacs with the title, allowing El Phantasmo to score the victory. So yeah, I liked it. It was fun.
There was a really fun house show spot in this where this is the kind of spot that you'd see on a house show where Hikuleo, and it's not on purpose, it's a recovery spot. Hikuleo loads up for a big chop and it's just shitty. It doesn't make a sound at all. And the crowd's like, oh, and so ELP's like, no, we got to do that again. So they do it again and he hits a good chop and the crowd pops. And that's good. That's good wrestling. I like that. So anyway, next, Luke, after that interview, I'm so hyped for this one. It's TJP versus Mystico. Now, this is the original Sin Cara, and he's been known by many things. Mr. C's, Mr. this, Mr. that, and now he's Mystico again. When he was involved, he's one of these guys that, if you're a wrestler or a luchador that's involved with AAA and you try to leave, they gobble your name up like WWE. That's why Pentagon has 10 different names. It's the same reason, right? So this guy finally has got his name back, I guess. But anyway, this is a brawl, which is unexpected. And this is something that happens with TJP matches, all right? Is that we think, this is going to be a crazy lucha match with no psychology and just all kinds of flippy stuff. That's not what TJP does. He's not going to let that happen. He's going to have a great match with some psychology and stuff. So, that's what we get, which, I like it. I'm not mad about it. So TJP, he plays the heel in this match. He gets heat on Mystico. They fight to the outside. Then TJP, he breaks Mystico's arm and he puts all kinds of wacky holds on him. And then finally they lucha, and they lucha very well.
Oh my God.
Mystico gets this awesome comeback and he does all the flippy flops. He dives to the outside and maybe he hits his head on the guardrail. It's funny. So he goes face first. I'm pretty sure he hit his head on the guardrail because the next thing we see him doing is reaching up into his mask to either adjust it or checked for blood is what I was thinking. So anyway, there's a little bit of freezing going on in this match for me with the thingy. This is before I had changed over to the Apple app, but I really like this match a lot. Rana spinning boner lock from Mystico, and TJP taps out immediately. This was one of the highlights of the show. I really liked it.
I did complain that I was like, I expected high-paced lucha shit. What am I getting? And instead I got a well-wrestled match with psychology. And I'm like, look, what's your fucking problem? So yeah, it's a good match. I liked it. I don't think TJP can have a bad match, and I don't think Mystico can either. I do like that Mystico uses the Empire Tower to clean his boots after the match. I'm like, ooh.
That should have been a submission, you know? Chumpy
would have been like, give up. All right, so next, I know what the result's going to be when I see this match, but I don't care. I just want to watch it. It is Eddie Kingston versus Mr. Bread, Satoshi Kojima. I thought this was a really good time. A really good time. And it's another one of those matches where you can tell that Eddie Kingston is like, oh my God, I'm wrestling Satoshi Kojima. Let's crush it. And they do. Like, Kojima gets the upper hand early, and he's like, I fucked him up, didn't I? Pecs. Pecs to you, pecs to you, pecs to you, and pecs to you. Everyone gets to see the pecs. He makes his loafs twitch. So there you go. Eddie fires back, but he eats rapid fire bread. Eddie chops back with the Cobol, I think he calls it, and an exploder. Kojima hits an apron DDT, then another DDT in the ring. Eddie's getting in some suplexes now. So a Saito suplex and a dragon suplex. Yay! I love suplexes. Stretch plum, but Kojima, he breads out of that shit. He's not losing that. And then speaking of losing, Eddie loses a lariat battle because come on, it's fucking. You seen these fucking slabs of baguettes? Like, get out of here. There's a Koji cutter, and Kojima withstands 3 back fists from Eddie Kingston and just fucking boom with the lariat. Eddie gives Kojima the middle finger, so Kojima's like, what? A brain buster. And then Kojima kicks out of 1 Northern Lights bomb, back fist, another Northern Lights bomb for 3. I thought it was a good time.
Pretty good, you know. Good match. You know, we knew who was going to win. There was no suspense, but it was fun anyway. So, okay, so 2 things happen in between this and the next match. But why don't you tell us what happens first here, Luke? What?
All right, so the first thing that happens is, Eddie and Kojima, respect, nice. But then Gabe Kidd must have seen that respect and been like, what the fuck? Respect. He runs the fuck out, hits Eddie with the belt because Kojima by this point has fucked off, and then shit talks him on the mic and then gives him a pile driver, leaves him laying. Gabe Kidd looks to be the next in line for the Strong Openweight title. And whether Eddie wins or not, I don't mind. I love Gabriel Kidd since he's come back from excursion, and I'm in for this match. As long as it's free on World or something, I don't have to fucking pay for it.
Right, yeah. A couple things about this is that during the pandemic, era, the Dark City era of Strong, Gabe Kidd and Eddie Kingston was like a feud, and so they're kind of picking up on that again, and now they're like, Gabe Kidd's all grown up now, so that's cool. And also, man, Eddie Kingston puts on a fucking clinic after this match. He gets the beatdown, and all of a sudden, he's selling his ass off, but he leaves the crowd on a light note by letting Chumpy Jr. help him to the back, which is like, everyone's like, oh, okay, he's fine. That was really great. Then another wrestler, Luke, who we've always known is tremendous in the ring, but one of the beefs with him has always been he sucks on the mic. It's fucking Trent Beretta. He gets a backstage segment, and it's terrible. It's a backstage interview, and it's really bad. And it's like, why are we doing this to these people? So,
I half expected to to see an interview pop up with Tongaloa at some point, just to.
I mean, it's like a fucking rib, you know? It's like
this
a
shit
rib
happens
on
in threes,
us.
right?
It's a rib on us. It's a rib on them. So, all right, next, Luke, we have a match. It is Kenta and Finley versus Wheeler Yuta and Jon Moxley. And how did you know? How do we know? It's a brawl. Bullet Club dominate, and Wheeler Yuta gets a big spot where he hits a huge rolling elbow on Finley that looks great. But we don't get much preview stuff between Moxley and Finley. Just a little bit later there at the end. Yuta looks great in this match, but I didn't care who won because I didn't even write down. So
it was Mr. I wrestle at every indie promotion in America and not New Japan fucking Pro Wrestling Kenta. I care what indie belt you have. But to Japan, I want to see you in the New Japan ring. I want to see, man, I'll open hostilities again with Tanahashi or something. Like, come on, get in there. I think he doesn't. I think maybe he doesn't want to go back because, he's like, if he wrestles Tanahashi again, someone's going to die. It's most likely going to be him.
I'm done with Moxley, dude. Done.
By the way,
it's just I'm not into it anymore. It's so boring. It's the same shit over and over again. I'm just done, man. I don't know.
If you want to watch a wrestling oddity, everybody, this is a match where Moxley sheds 0 blood.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's like we're gonna like give him props for that. Like he didn't bleed this time. Oh, way to switch it up. It's like, oh my god, I'm just tired of that guy. I know he's a good wrestler and everything, but like, I'm not excited to see him in New Japan unless it's in the G1. Remember how awesome he was in the G1 and how he was like. Remember how he was like, oh, I'm in this promotion, so maybe I should change a little bit how I am to their promotion and show them I can do the things that they do, which is what you're fucking supposed to do. Now he doesn't do that anymore. He's just like, no, I'm just, and I'm just, fall down, bleed guy. So, I don't care. I like blood in wrestling when it's used right. It's not that. It's just that I'm bored with him.
You know how Yoshihashi
down the street from where I live.
You know how Yoshihashi fucking face planted that time and he was bleeding? So if that happened to Moxley, I think he'd be bleeding before he even hit the steps.
Yes. He would.
But,
yes. I don't know. Well, let's talk about something that's awesome, Luke. And first, before we talk about this match, tell me about this amazing promo package that we get talking about why Mike Bailey deserves this title shot. This shit is amazing.
Mike Bailey calls into question Zack Sabre Jr.'s legitimacy as the television champion and accuses him of not even watching TV. Speedball's like, hey, you know what I've done in the last month? I've wrestled in like 4 different countries. And guess what I also had time to do? I watch 80 hours of TV every week. And I was like, oh my God, that is fucking hilarious. We were both like, I don't know about you, but my eyes welled up a little bit. That was fucking hilarious.
I should be the TV champion because I watch the most TV. It's great. I love it.
And I subscribe to all the streaming services too. Yeah. Oh my God. It was. So yes, it is a television championship match. It is a Zack Sabre Jr. versus Speedball Mike Bailey. And if there was ever a wrestler who knows how to do submission spots in a tiny ass indie ring, it's Zack Sabre Jr.
Why do you say that? You made such a great point about why is this match different than earlier matches as far as the submission stuff?
Because in a lot of the previous matches, if there's submission spots, and I feel like even TJP Mystico even as well, like there's even one spot that Hichihiro and the other dude do where they do the move and they realize they're too close to the ropes, so he drags him in more, then they do the rest of the move. You know what match? And this is not just a Zack Sabre Jr. thing. This is a both men thing. Speedball Mike Bailey, he has to do that kick where he comes from one corner, spins around, and comes to the other corner. Well, you got to do it in half the space. Guess what? He knows how to do that in half the freaking space. Zack Sabre Jr. oh, we're too close to the ropes. I'm just going to grab Mike Bailey's arm and pull it over here and his leg over here. So now only his face is close to the ropes. So what the fuck are you going to do now? You know, that kind of stuff. The ring awareness of just that. And also that just like both men doing that little bit extra to be like, all right, we're near the ropes. I'm going to pin him on this side rather than on this side.
Right.
Yes.
So it's just good ring psychology.
Yeah, it's not just good ring psychology; it's good ring awareness, and it was obvious to me. I haven't seen them wrestle before, but in a singles match, but it's obvious to me that these guys must have been in the ring before together, because you know they've got to do all this shit in half the space. And at no point did that tiny ass ring spoil what was almost ran to the whole 15 minutes. This match is fucking incredible. Even though Shin goes on tonight, this is the match to watch. This right here is the match to watch on this card. It is fucking incredible. There's even some spots that make me go, yeah, they've wrestled before, and they also know how to do those. It's like they've wrestled before, and it's like, oh, all right. So I got caught with this move once before. So how about I put the knees up here? You sure you want me to you want to put your knees up when I do the double knees coming down? Let's try it. I fucking do it. Ouch! What the fuck? And here's how good Zack Sabre Jr. is. You've got a time limit, and every single one of these matches in that time limit, the other wrestler looks like $1 billion. And if the other wrestler is also freaking awesome, it just, I would say, like, I don't know, might be some of my favorite stuff Zack Sabre Jr.'s had with this belt since maybe the Cobb stuff and the Shooter Umino stuff, you know? That's how good this match is, even though, like we both know, Speedball is not winning this title. There's just no. But does he get his shit in? Does he do the move on the corner? He comes down on the back with the knees. Yes. He eventually does hit the standing knee salt. I don't know what that's called either. And he does in half the room. He does that fucking double ninja spin kick thing that he fucking does. That's amazing. So what does Zack Sabre Jr. do for a lot of the match? Bump and catch into submissions. Why? That's the perfect style to show off other people's styles. His style is, all right, I'm going to take a few bumps, then I'm going to catch you and put you in submissions. And then that heads to the end of the match where he catches Mike Bailey and he has no chance but to tap out, even though the timer is like right there, because gnarly submissions. I love this match. I loved it.
It's great. It stole the show. It's the match of the night. If I was going to tell anyone to watch this, it would be this is the match to watch, obviously. They do so many cool things I love. Like they get in a leg hold and they roll to the outside in the leg hold. I love that.
You love that spot.
Anytime something like that happens, I get so happy. You know, and like you to your point, so we often, we don't, but we, you know, in luchador wrestling, you talk about the like high flying flippy guys and then the lucha bases, you know, like Mil Muertes, he was a lucha base, you know, he would stand there and catch guys so that, you know, and bump around and stuff so that the high flying guy looks great. Right. Well, Zack Sabre Jr. is like the British grappling version of that. You know, and
yeah,
it's interesting. I never really thought of him that way, but you're right. Also, I don't know if Mike Bailey was ever PWG champion, but Zack Sabre Jr. was PWG champion for a while, and I know Mike Bailey wrestled there, so I'm assuming those matches are out there somewhere, and they're probably awesome. But yeah, the flying knees into the knees, that shit was awesome. I couldn't believe they did that spot. And what was so great is Zack Sabre Jr. selling after that. You know, his legs were fucked too. And it was fun too, because early in the match, they did this big long sequence where it was snapmare, try to PK, drop it, you know, or drop down, then all kinds of dodges, then snapmare, then I try PK. And all these, like, it was all based around the PK, them trying to hit these kicks on each other. And that went on for a very long time. And it was like, okay, this is New Japan Pro Wrestling here. You know what I mean? And we got to see some of that tonight, at least a little bit. So that was pretty cool. This is match of the night. It's awesome. It'll definitely be in our end of the year top 10 matches of the
best of
the
year.
year.
Spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a shame we can't talk about it, you know, when we get into the World Tag League bracketology. But,
No.
you know, it's not a tag match. So
we don't have room for it.
Nope. Anyway, Luke, next we have the IWGP Women's title match, and it's Maya Iwatani who is the, speaking of another match we knew the finish to as soon as it was announced. It's Maya Iwatani versus Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to call her Stephanie. So this is very good. It's like all this junior style wrestling at the start, you know, junior heavyweight type stuff. And Stephanie takes over and gets her like sexy heat spots in, you know, she has all these like sexy spots. She does sexy head slams, sexy move here, sexy move there. So that's fun. You know, because
I'm going to allow that.
Yeah. Well, and the difference between these two wrestlers is one is like a voluptuous woman and one is like, you know, a very svelte Japanese woman. So they really look different and their styles reflect that. And it's great. So there's a big comeback with dives and a big splash for two from Maya Iwatani. And they get some leg and arm choke holds from Stephanie after the sort of catching. She sort of catches her after a top rope moonsault. Kind of didn't quite get that spot perfect. But there is a bonkers German suplex from Stephanie, spot of the match. And that'll definitely be in our top 10 spots of the year in women's title matches. You know, that section of our podcast we'll do at the end of the year. Big tombstone for Maya. She hits a moonsault halfway across the ring for the win. Tremendous, you know, respect after the match. Nothing wrong with this, but like, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, it was a good match, but I'm still coming down from Speedball Mike Bailey versus X17. This match is awesome, and yeah, as soon as I saw that German, I hit rewind, saw the German again, hit rewind, and
I still can't rewind.
You still can't rewind 10 seconds of shit. Motherfuck, what's
I didn't try it on the Apple TV app, so I will do that next time it's live. So
yeah, I just, it wasn't just the kid doing the German, it was also just how far Maya Iwatani launched herself from that.
It was really far. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Holy shit. And yeah, you feel like, hey, Maya, you're going to be able to make that jump? And, well, yeah, easily. And the way she hits, it's more one of those, I'm going to hit you, but I'm Stephanie Fakir, it's going to hurt. And it looked like it fucking hurt. So really good match. Some really good stuff. So now we got the main event, which is Shingo Takagi versus Trent Beretta. Our champion is here. And the only thing I can think of when I see this match is Tama Tonga's going to come out at the end. Fuck. Because, you know, Trent Beretta's not winning the Never Open title.
No, why is the show full of that shit? That's another reason why this show would never... It's the reason they didn't want people to pay for it because no one would have bought it because there's nothing on here that's like, oh, maybe, you know, it's... Anyway.
Ooh, Brad Kojima's going to be good. Brad Eddie's going to be good. Who's going to win? Oh, Eddie, of course.
Dude, the ultimate feud. Brad turns on Kojima. And he has to fight Brad. Oh, my. His heart would be torn, too. His little dogs would be ringside going, yep.
Then he comes out with fucking pasta arms. All right. So, yes, it is our main event. Our champion, the Never Open champion, is here. It is the Dragon. And, yeah. The table in this match, it does try to start a fight with the equipment, which almost causes a DQ, in my opinion.
It's funny.
I'm just like, Trent, you're fighting the equipment. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. Then one of the workers jumps in to help untake the cord from the table. And I'm like, it's a handicap match, but you're still going to lose. But no, they end up getting that table off. Trent does DVD Shingo through the table in the corner, and both. See, I like this spot. It's silly, but I like it. But I like it when, rather than grab chairs and stuff, they just grab shards of table and start hitting each other with it. I really like that.
Indie wrestling.
Yeah.
Indie wrestling.
And they do that after what my notes embarrassingly says is a cump dump. I forgot the H there, so there is a chump bump because there is DQs in this. Yeah, it's there. I don't read my typos that often anymore, but sometimes they're funny. So
that was
like
a funny one.
Cump dump. Yeah, the ref takes a dive. I can't remember how. So they both use tables on each other. Trent's busted open. Hey, that's nice.
Did you notice Japanese commentary was like John Moxley? As soon as he started bleeding, as soon as Trent started bleeding, they just start talking about John Moxley.
Oh yeah. He's done a Moxley. Yeah, he has. Oh my goodness. Trent does chain German suplexes, so I like you, Trent. Nice work. I like that. There's a Shingo superplex. Man, I think my top two favorite superplex dudes that off the top of my head, Shingo, Ishii. Love that shit. And Shingo's not going to settle for that shit. Super Death Valley Driver. Whew! Holy shit. There's a made in Japan for 2. Trent hits a gnarly looking pile driver. Takagi hooks the arms, but then up and down in like a bastard tiger driver, which is awesome. Shingo catches a Trent in the ropes and hits a Canadian GTR, right? And then just hits Lust of the Dragon. 1, 2, 3. Shingo retains. And as Trent's walking about all injured, I'm fucked, ow. Shingo gets on the mic and says, next time, no DQ.
Did he really say that? I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, he did.
Why?
Yeah.
It's like, this match is great. Trent is tremendous wrestler. I love watching him wrestle. I mean, I was sad when he left New Japan because, man, I always loved watching him wrestle. He was great. If you've never seen it, his, the best friends, the other best friends, their feuds against the Young Bucks in New Japan are tremendous. So anyway, but there was the guardrails that they had at the show were the stiff, aluminum guardrails that don't make a cool sound when you hit them. And Trent he was the only one in the whole show that took a tremendous New Japan style bump, sideways right into him. And I was like, respect, it barely made a noise. And I was like, still so cool. I love when Trent's very good at bumping. He loves to bump and he's very good at it. So this match is fine. Tama Tonga comes out and the match is made official for Wrestle Kingdom. It's Tama Tonga versus Shingo for the never open title. And I mean, Shingo's got to win, right? I mean,
what talks me off the ledge is you saying, all right, they want to do a cob, but with Tama Tonga to kind of elevate him. All right, fine. I'm all for it. I hope it works. I feel like I've said this a billion fucking times on this podcast that I like Tama Tonga, but I wish I loved him, if that makes sense. But he's been never champed 3 times now, and it's stuck in Bullet Club feuds every time almost. I'm like, God, make it stop. Part of me would have loved Shingo Finley at the Dome, or many other wrestlers against Shingo at the Dome. But if this is the purpose for it, as you said, all right, let's see it. Let's do it.
One more thing I do want to mention about Trent Beretta is that so he was a junior in New Japan, and he was the biggest junior. He was like ELP as a junior. It's like, wait a second, this isn't right? And when he decided to go heavyweight, he made a new T-shirt. And the T-shirt was just a crude drawing of him, and it just said, Greg is big, and his real name is Greg. That was this T-shirt on New Japan T-shirt shop, and I hope that's out there somewhere. I hope somebody bought that. I didn't. But, that was Lone Star Shootout. And by the way, I just cannot help but to say, can we maybe not call shows Shootout? Can we maybe not, talk about guns as much? It maybe is a bad idea in America where, the leading cause of death is getting shot by someone randomly when you're just walking around trying to live your life. So just saying, especially somewhere like Texas where, but that's just my opinion. I think that New Japan is tone deaf to some of that stuff because of course they would be, because they're not thinking that way, because of course you wouldn't think that, oh, going to the grocery store you get murdered. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think that, but it's kind of the way it is over here sometimes. So anyway, Luke, what did you think overall of Lone Star Shootout? Pew pew.
It was a show that I watched.
Yeah, I think that's enough. Enough of that stuff. So I guess is it bracketology time?
Let's talk about the other thing we're excited
Yeah.
All right.
I don't. I just don't care about how about World Tag League. Last year, I promised that I wouldn't cover it at all. So you're going to get very little effort out of me for World Tag League.
We're going to cover it pretty much in a similar way to listeners / viewers. I'm just going to say listeners is easier. We're going to do low-key notes and just have a bit more loosey-goosey, never-ish, kind of never realmish style fun with it. And don't be surprised if Mr. Guy and I take any excuse possible to not watch these shows live and just...
They're on at 4:30 a.m. for me. I'm not getting up at 4:30 a.m. for fucking World Tag League. It ain't happening. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, will I watch all the shows? Oh.
Yeah, probably.
I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. Every year we like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. Let's watch it. And it turns out to be nothing, so it's always nothing.
All right. We got spoiled with Junior Tag League, which puts us in a false sense of security. But here we go. Do you want me to do A block and you do B, or we do a tag team? Yeah, all right.
Tell me who is in A block of World Tag League, and then we'll get to the bracketology.
Okay. Here we go. We have Shooter Umino and Ren Narita.
They're winning.
Cool. Yeah. Are they? I mean, I want Eduardo Despi to... Oh, I can't complain. I love Catch 2-2. All right, we got Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano. And I'm like, no! That's not what we're supposed to be doing. I'm sorry. I'm opening my fantasy dream book. I wanted Ishii and Tanner. I wanted them to be like, I fucking like you. And Tanahashi's like, well, I'm trying to make this work. And Ishii says like, I'd rather fight you. And then you got that. But I guess they're already doing that with Shooter and Ran and Suzuki and Nagata and I guess Despi and Wai. All right, I get it. But even still, Ishii and Yano is still a fun team. Next, we have, if I can give these guys the win, they're awesome. It's the Great Khan and Hanare. Yes, please. Next, we've got another team I really like, Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste. Fuck it, let this team win. It's Alex C. and Gabriel Kidd. Hell yeah. We've probably got the team that everyone's going to hate, but probably give me the most fun because I'm still watching World Tag League, and it is Evil and... Yeah, I know. Fucking Yujiro. But still, it's going to be Evil. And Togo, Shooter, and probably Kanemaru are going to come out. They're going to do some fun shit.
We got a Bullet Club versus Bullet Club matchup, too, in that block. That's fun.
That's right. And just because this gentleman hasn't finished jobbing in New Japan yet, we have the team of Ryohei Iwa and Kato Kiyomiya. And we have a second outside of New Japan team. They're called... What are they called? I'll just do their names. Bishop Kwan and Toa Leona. They're from, I think, Ring of Honor. Now, they have made some, Authors of Pain or something like that. Am I getting it wrong? They got Gates of Agony. It was something of Pain, Agony, something like that.
Authors of Pain. Remember the Authors of Pain?
Yeah. We wrote the book on pain. Pulls it up.
They were so shitty. Oh,
so
man.
It was just one of those generic, like something that hurts. And they got Gates of Agony. They're usually teaming up with Brian Cage. And they're mostly on the Ring of Honor shows, which I don't watch, but they do show up on AEW. And they're not a bad team.
Well, that's A block. All right. Well, here is B block, boo. Luke, my favorite tag team and the greatest tag team in the world is debuting. On my list. They're not debuting in World Tag League. And that is Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, the Fisherman. And next, Luke, I was shocked. Tiger Mask.
Awesome.
Tiger Mask was at home. He's like sitting there by the phone. He's waiting to get the call from Yuji Nagata, reuniting the Sapphire Sheriffs for World Tag League. But no, it's Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki because they had their whole feud, so they're tagging together, and that's going to be a blast. So, I mean, it's a little better than the Sapphire Sheriffs. So, next, Luke, another team that's going to be fun. Hikuleo and El Phantasmo, tremendous team. And then a team I am fascinated by because I'm fascinated by the Holy Emperor is Taichi and Yuya Uemura. Another team that is interesting because only one of the people has been announced, and that is Yota Tsuji and Z. And apparently, I think that somebody spoiled it maybe, and it's somebody from Rev Pro, I think. But I don't know if they're going to join LIJ. We don't know. So then from CMLL, we have Atlantis Jr. and Soberano Jr. Yeah, so those guys will be good. Oh, and then the Monsters, Sauce and the Monster, Lance Archer and Alex Zane. And then another kind of question mark is Bad Luck Fale and Jack Bonzo. How do you say his name?
Bonza.
Yeah, but how do you say it? You know,
Bonza.
Okay, that's not very Aussie of you. You know, I thought it was like a
Jack Bonza, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Jack Bonza.
Christ.
So I have met Jack Bonza at the 2 Tamashi shows. Yes, he tags with Bad Luck Fale in those shows. He's a good big man. He's pretty much, just think of Aussie Eric the Red.
Okay.
Maybe not as tall, but he's a big dude, ginger beard, rough as guts. And hey, at least Tag League is giving me some wrestlers that I kind of miss seeing in New Japan. Like, I haven't seen Bad Luck Fale for a while. He's not for everyone.
Yeah,
I like him. I know he's never too far away, but I feel like it's been ages since we've gotten some solid, steady Minoru Suzuki on our New Japan screens. So, hell yeah.
Okay, fine. Tiger Mask can stay home, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah. And, so, yeah. I mean, I don't think they needed 2 blocks, but...
yeah, well, that's just more wrestling for us to watch. And Luke, also, what has been announced on this tour is that 2 new young lions will be making their debuts and hopefully not breaking their arms on some of these nights. November 20th and 21st, we have Shoma Kato, I think it's Kato, Shoma Kato, and then Katsuya Murashima. So those guys will be debuting, and they look like young lions to me.
Well, that's generally how it starts in New Japan, isn't it? Like, here's a new guy. We butcher their names. Then we hear it for a couple of weeks, and we're like, no.
At least it's not Yuya Uemura. That took a while.
Yeah, it did. It really did. So, yeah. I don't know what to say. I don't mind who wins. Could be Shooter and Ren. I mean, they could do something better, like wrestle each other. But I'd love it to be Great Khan and Hinare because I feel like they deserve to win something cool, especially.
Yeah, they're not going to win.
Like both of them, actually. Like Team DK, I like. I get to see some Aussie boys regularly. I'm not poo-pooing that. It's fine. It's World Tag League. At least, man, AOP and Hikuleo, they're going to make every single one of those matches just a weird, creative blast of fun, I think. So
it's still World Tag League, so let's calm down.
I know, but I'm looking for the nuggets, man. I'm looking for the non-stank nuggets.
The stank nuggets.
I'm sorting through the stank nuggets just to kind of get to the non-stanky chicken nuggets.
Well,
the nuggets will still have a little bit of stank on them because, like, the World Tag League nuggets are sticky and
it's bad news. Nuggets are not good, but Luke, there's another big piece of news that we did talk about earlier, and you're mad about it. Another match has been announced for Wrestle Kingdom. It's tell me about it. Tell me how mad you are.
Look, I'm not mad, because I'm not mad. It is a TV title match. It is Zack Sabre Jr.
Are you mad,
Hiroshi
bro?
Tanahashi. Is it going to be fucking awesome? Yeah. But you know what I saw during the preview stuff between Dream Team and TMDK? Yeah, there were portions of each match where Zack Sabre Jr. and Tanahashi had some bouts, and it was really good. But they weren't as good as Ishii and Zack Sabre Jr., who to me are like completely odd couple. But here's the never guy. Here's stretchy dude. And it's like rhyming poetry, it just works. It's like 16 times the detail. It just works. However, it's Wrestle Kingdom, and you got to have handsome Tanahashi on the freaking Wrestle Kingdom show, and you got to make it a really cool match. Zack Sabre Jr., yeah. So I understand. It's Tanahashi. You got to give him a big match for the show. But in my fantasy dream book, though, it wasn't even going to be the TV title. For me, in my fantasy dream book, something happens where the Dream Team loses their titles, and then Ishii's like, "Oh, Tanahashi, it's clobbering time! Fucking pow!" Wrestle Kingdom. But, that's my fantasy dream book.
Yeah, that's also CM Punk's gimmick. But, and he's out of wrestling.
Oh, wait. That's fucking the ever-loving blue-eyed things gimmick. And he's been around since the fucking 60s. Fuck CM Punk.
Clobbering time? Okay. Anyway, well, that is a match I'm looking forward to. I think it'll be awesome, and I think it'll sell a lot more tickets than Ishii versus Zack Sabre Jr. However, I get it, and that means maybe the Dream Team, maybe they're gonna lose at some point. Luke, there's one more show we have to kind of like tell people about, because there is a title match coming up that's been announced. All right, and it is the Kapow King of Pro Wrestling title. Provisional championship, and we are going to get the challenger Taichi going up against Sho, the current title holder, at the Road to New Japan. I told you that show would be something. It's New Japan Road, just some random show on November 17th before World Tag League starts. So I expect Taichi to win that match and win every other match that he's in forever. So
yes, we would love it. You're gonna love the venue. Have you seen the venue name for this place?
It's another wing. It's like Big Wing or something like that.
The Yamagata Big Wing. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, Mr. Guy is going to love the name of that place." Yeah. Yes,
we're gonna talk all about the wings, the hats, the bigs, all that stuff, and we'll see if people liked going there, and if the toilets were nice or not, and if they needed to be updated. So.
Oh my goodness! All right, so let's do the wonderful finale here, which is
Wrestler Diary. Yeah,
and we have one by one of the goats of Wrestler Diaries. It is episode 124 by Yo.
Okay, another Yo one.
Yeah. So I'm doing these in order of the backlog, but next is Naito. So hey, there we go. Hey, I know everyone would probably rather me go read the fucking Naito diary. Trust me, Yos have some kind of weird goal to them. Strap in. It's episode 124. It's called Two and Swords. There's a picture here of a coffee cup. I bet you needed to pee while drawing it, and. Drawing of a pen and paper. I think it just broke Andy. It's all right.
That's funny.
Dated October 19th, 2023. All right, stretching here. There are many places that start with Musashi, but
oh my God, Luke, come on.
Oh my God, I'm burying the lead. All right, there are many places that start with Musashi, but today I went to Musashi Kasugi. I came here because I had something to do. This area has been heavily redeveloped in recent years.
Ooh, and what about the toilets?
And because it is where Tokyo and Nambu lines intersect, it naturally has good transport links and is regularly ranked as one of the top places to live. Most of all, the name is extremely cool. I feel it's worth living there for that reason alone. And in fact, I was looking for a place to live in Kasugi until I settled in my current place of residence. What the fuck even what? However, in the end, it's like, I might get a car. I might not. Now
Yeah.
I might live where the cool people do because it sounds cool.
He's like, there's a record shop that sells, really, really obscure records from America, like Kid Rock or something like that,
One of the backstage guys was listening to ball what the ball. What's this fresh jam? All right. However, in the end, I concluded that I wouldn't be able to walk to the dojo, and since I have no intention of owning a car or motorbike, if I lived there, my life would be more troublesome than in my current environment. I was born in the
ring?
Michinoku countryside and came to Tokyo with dreams and hopes of becoming a professional wrestler. So I kind of wanted to be a Tokyoite. I had to give up the idea of living in Musashi Kasugi, but I still have a fondness for the place.
This is boring, yo. Come on,
man.
Talk about piss.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Be pretentious about your favorite music again. Please. There are so many districts in West Tokyo that start with Musashi, and I was curious as to why. So is this all leading up to, hey, there's a wrestler named Musashi? He must be really cool.
Or anyway. Is he getting into buildings and names of areas? Is he stepping on my toes here?
Oh my God. He steals other people's shit in the ring. Come on, man. Yeah.
I can't help it.
Look, even though it's we both ready.
He's been listening to this really obscure, American podcast where they talk about buildings. It's us.
I did some light research and found out that some areas of Tokyo and Kanagawa were considered Musashi Province in the old administrative division until 150 years ago. The name Musashi in the station name is derived from there. I see.
I'm fascinated.
And why am I attracted to the character and name Musashi in the first place? I think that the name Musashi is familiar to Japanese people, and the most famous is Miyamoto Musashi, the master swordsman who's famous for his battle on Ganrujima, and the two-sword style and the Book of Five Rings.
Oh.
Perhaps the answer is this. It is natural for a man to admire great warriors. It makes sense that I am unconditionally attracted to the name Musashi. The unconscious will to become a strong man is reflected in living in a place that begins with Musashi. With this in mind, I was looking at jackets, coats, and other outerwear at a clothing store. Of course, I will buy the ones I like and use them as reference for my own ring gear.
Oh! So he buys clothes from a store that he likes, and then he makes it. He's like, oh no, he makes it himself, and then goes, oh, this is my clothes.
It's like, yeah. Oh, he bought a normal denim jacket, and then he just put denim patches on it, and he's like, oh yeah.
It's like somebody liked a wrestler and saw a really funny picture of the wrestler, and then made their own T-shirt out of it. It's like that. What kind of psycho does that?
I want to have something new in time for the next tour. By the way, you're talking about all the Musashis, and you don't even talk about the fucking Musashi town. All right. Has World Tag League happened yet? I don't know. It is October. When was it? Who gives a shit? Yeah, World Tag League, Junior Tag League would have been happening now.
Yeah.
Or close to.
Talk about wrestling.
After shopping, I headed to a restaurant where I was meeting an acquaintance. This person was someone I hadn't seen for a while and was a rugged man who ate and drank with gusto. This time was no exception, and he enjoyed his fill. I was caught up in it and ate and drank more heavily than usual. Well, at least for today, it's okay. I reasoned to myself that I'm a wrestler who eats, drinks, and trains to make up for it, and we shared a meal together. We said goodbye, and after a while, I started to feel kind of sick. Damn, I drank way too much, and my stomach hurts too. Oops, I don't want to have diarrhea.
That's it.
That was a fucking Yoshihashi level diary right there.
Yeah, it wasn't good, yo. I mean, the last, it ended well, but that's it. I was slightly interested by the history stuff, but
that was kind of cool, but it was stepping on your shit. Also, it does have a bit of that pretentiousness in it. Like he's What are you doing?
He's very pretentious, and
Yeah.
he was so pretentious that he's stealing everyone's ideas too at the clothing store.
And, you know, that's what he's doing in the ring too. Oh, I'm going to take this spot, and then I'm going to put my denim patch on it.
I can't believe him.
Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, I don't know, dude. All I know is that our next several shows are going to be pretty loose, and get ready.
Very.
They're going to be fun, and you're going to get to watch them, and you're going to get to listen to them, and all that stuff. And yeah,
That's right. So yeah, oh man, we made it to the end. At least it wasn't a straight up hour and a half of the American show like we did last time. We pretty much flew through that, so that was kind of nice. But yeah, yeah, it was
good, but half of it was like usually a New Japan show that's really good. Like some of the matches I don't care about, but they're still good. You know what I mean? And there's still there's interesting things to talk about with them. You know, with this, it was like, oh.
Like at least House of Torture is getting smart enough now that even if they have to fight Chaos again, they'll do some different spots this time or something.
Yeah.
But, I might just say, I'm not taking notes for this. Oh, but they did at least one spot that's different. All right, I'll mention that.
Yeah.
Freshen things up. But yeah. I don't know. Well, you know, Mr. Guy, in case there is anything that you'd like to add. In Gato, we trust.